Right, greetings everyone, it's me again. I go by the name of Justice Masilela. Yes, so I promised to make another video on the beauty of diversity, cultural diversity to be specific. Well, cultural diversity is something to be, acknowledged, accepted, and utilized. Well, I'll tell you how. From a young age, maybe let me take it from high school. I attended a school where it was made out of different people from different cultural background. We even had teachers. We had Indian teachers. We had Afrikaans teachers. We had even people from Africa. I remember I had a teacher from Ghana, I had a teacher from Nigeria, I had a teacher from Zimbabwe. So cultural diversity is one of the important things to understand, and it rests upon us to also understand different cultures so that we may acknowledge them and accept them. Because once you understand that we are diverse in terms of culture, and you give yourself time to learn other cultures, it will be easy to thrive in this world. Why? Because this world, wherever you go, there's always going to be cultural diversity. Whether you be in school, as I just mentioned now, from my high school, there was cultural diversity. I came to varsity. Varsity, we all know varsity is even worse. In the campus that I was in, we had, it was broad in terms of cultural diversity. We had people from abroad, from Europe. We had people from Africa, going up to other African countries. We also had South African. Because South Africa is a diverse country on its own. It has different cultural background. People have different cultural background. So this is something to indeed pay attention to. You go to workplaces. Some people they will clash because one person fails to understand the other, or one person wants to impose the way he sees things, the way he's living his life to another person, and you find that they're gonna clash because there's no way that you can make me act, when I'm that old, to unlearn my way of doing things so that I may fit your way of doing things. It will never work. The only way for it to work is when each and every one of us accept each other. I accept another person for who they are and for having the background that they have, and which led to how they live their life and how they see love, how they dress up, the kind of music they listen to. So all culture affects every angle of our lives. So it is indeed something if we want to interact, and we need to note that there is no culture that is more civilized than the other, and there is no culture that is supreme than the other. And therefore, there is no culture that is supposed to dominate another culture. These cultures needs to accept and find a common ground to work and live together in the same breath. So this is a very important thing. It's a very important thing. From school level to working environment to everywhere you go, there's always going to be cultural differences. And you cannot run away from the fact that where we are today, how we look at life, how we carry ourselves, it is influenced by our upbringing, and culture comes from that. Culture, it's how you carry yourself, the clothes you wear, the music you listen to. Your language, culture affects every angle and every part of your life. It touches every part of your life. So where you are now, your personality, your character is shaped by your upbringing. And your upbringing is what informs your culture. Where you were raised, where you grew up, even our language, where we grew up, our mother speaking that language, it does lead us to having this language we call mother tongue. So our upbringing, where we were, who raised us, who gave birth to all this thing leads to a person, to a person being what they are. So yes, it's something to be recognized, and something, once you understand it, to take it serious. Something to be taken real serious, because people will do things that you're not used to. Not that they are wrong, but you'll find some, if you don't understand, you will end up not accepting them as being civilized, not accepting them as being wise, and not accept them as being modern enough for you. But when you understand that there's nothing wrong with what they're doing, they do what they know best. They carry their lives how they know best. They speak the language that they speak the way they were taught from their upbringing. So there's nothing wrong when someone does something that is different from what you call common, or what you call or what you expect, or what you are used to. There's nothing wrong when someone does something different from your normal, because your normal is not necessarily everyone's normal, and your definition of civilization is not the same as my definition of civilization. There's no culture that is less civil. We must get used to that. We must know that, and it must sink in us that there's no culture that is less civil, and there's no culture that is more civil. Therefore, once we understand that, we know that there is no supreme culture. We have to accept each other. We have to accept each other, and accept and acknowledge each other as being different. We don't have to be the same to be united, but in our differences we can still unite. And for us to unite in our differences, we need to accept each other as being different, and therefore work to fulfill a common goal. For instance, in a working community, in a working environment, you are working to fulfill a common goal. Therefore, you need to accept each other and work, find a common ground that will allow you to interact, and to be productive in whatever that you're doing, so that you may achieve whatever goal that you want to achieve, whatever business. And research has found that it is more productive when different cultures interact. For instance, in a marketing department, if we're gonna have different cultural backgrounds, it is found that it makes it easy for the marketing or the marketing strategy that will come out there to reach a broader spectrum, because these are people from different backgrounds coming together to reach people. And this one will bring about to the table how we can reach this kind of people. This one will bring about into the table, and together at the end of the day there will be something good and something powerful that will reach a broad spectrum of people, that will resonate with a broader spectrum of people, will come out. Why? Because people from different backgrounds came together to come up with something that was not gonna suit one cultural background or one upbringing or one way of living, but something that is to suit a people from different perspective. Yes, that word. Yes, so it is in a working environment that is made out of different cultural backgrounds. It is found that if used well, if these different cultural backgrounds are acknowledged, if these different cultural backgrounds are used, because another thing that we need to know, that our different upbringings gives us different strengths. There are people who can plan well but are bad with execution, and there are people who are good with their hands, good with their legs, good with whatever, and they cannot plan. But if we're gonna utilize the kind that is good in planning, and utilize the kind that is good in fulfilling, in application, then we will be using each other from our strengths, and we will be at the end of the day fulfilling a common goal. So understanding each cultures, understanding their strengths, understanding their weaknesses. We don't understand their weaknesses so that we may take advantage of it, but we understand their weaknesses so that we can help each other in our weaknesses and work together. If I'm strengthened in this part, I'm gonna help my brother who's less strengthened in this part, and together we can be a powerhouse if we can accept each other and learn to live with each other. And the only way is by accepting and acknowledging each other, and not look other people to be less civilized or to be less human because they live their life different from what you are used to. Your way of living is not the way, it's not the ultimate way, it's not the right, it's not the right way. Everyone's way of living is right as long as it works for them. Everyone's living is right as long as they have chosen it and they decided upon themselves to live their lives the way they are living their life. There's nothing wrong to be different, and there's nothing wrong to live with people who are different from you and accepting them as they are. The only thing that we need to do, we should be open-minded. We should be open to accept each other. We should be open to work with one another, and we should look at each other as human, and we should look at each other as living our lives the valid, or in a way that is valid to ourselves. That's the only way we can move forward. You know, diversity is always good when utilized well. Let's not try and impose ourselves to people. Let's not try to present our way of living as the way of living, or the ultimate way, or the pattern that which other people should copy from. No, we are not made to copy from you. It works how we live. It works how you live. Therefore, I don't have to change you. You don't have to change me. Let me live how I want to live. Live how you want to live. I will take some of the things if I see them applicable to me, and you can learn a thing or two from me. And by so doing, we are developing each other, and we are fulfilling a common goal. Let's do. Life is different. Diversity was brought by God, and diversity in this diversity, we are to be united, and we can only be united by accepting each other. We ought to accept each other. But diversity is the best thing that God has done for us, because out of us being diverse, we've got different strengths and different weaknesses, and we are able to work with one another by utilizing our strengths together, united in our differences. We ought to unite. No one is greater than the other. No culture is more acceptable and more civilized than the other. Everyone is acceptable. Everyone is civilized in their own way of doing things. So accept one another. Let's live together in harmony and in peace. Power